Today we're talking about ignoring our problems. This is chapter 2 from Friedman's book on how America fell behind in the world it invented and how we can come back. Today we're going to talk about the problems that Friedman sees, the cause of those problems, and the solution. Some of what will be covered is similar to what David talked about, and we'll see the similarities. He just expounds a little bit on those things. The four problems are globalization, IT revolution, out-of-control deficits and debt, and rising energy demand and climate. Basically, Friedman sees us as falling behind in these areas. We've not kept up with the rest of the world in our markets, in our information technology, that our deficits are becoming an issue, that they're growing beyond the point of recovery, and that our rising energy demand because of increasing businesses, utilization of our energy, those increases are causing climate effects, and it also requires America to be dependent on other countries, which weakens our status. Some of the causes that were noted, or the major causes that were noted of these issues, started with the Cold War ending. When the Berlin Wall came down, it was said that we got basically what we wanted. We wanted to end the Cold War. That way we weren't competing and everybody was happy and world peace. But in doing so, we kind of lost our enemy. We lost our competition, so to say. That way we had nobody prodding us to do better. We didn't have to keep up on our technology as strongly as we had in the past. We didn't have that ambition to outdo those countries and show the world that America, the free economy, was a better system than the communist economy. With the end of the Cold War, our markets also became more competitive. We had communist nations turning to our business and economic plans, which made the playing field more competitive. We used to be the top dog and really didn't have anybody to compete with. Now we have several markets that are competing. And complacency was in the fact that we were the top dog. We were very strong in the markets, and we didn't realize that these other world markets were going to catch up so quickly, and they're actually, in the eyes of Friedman, it seems that he thinks they're beyond us. And in a lot of situations we hear on the news day in and day out that this is the case. Our borrowing has increased rapidly in the past, since our dollar was strong, our economy was strong. That credit history basically was a very strong history and allowed us or enabled us to borrow more at better rates. And the issue with borrowing based on that strong economic past is, as we go in further, those rates and interest are going to start to compound or increase. The increase in energy consumption, that weakens us because we're dependable on other countries for our energy sources. It also weakens the environment according to climate control. And whether or not you buy into that, keeping our air and our sources clean is important. Some of the solutions. It is interesting that as he goes through this chapter, as David mentioned, he does seem to be optimistic about our future. He doesn't really say much about the negative side. He mentions failure, but he doesn't really define that, and he doesn't spend a lot of time on that. And I think the point is that he expects the solution to be applied, and eventually for America to wake up and recognize that we have these issues and to come back as we have in the past. It's kind of like, I guess, the sleeping dog. He's waiting for it to wake up and do what it's supposed to do. So the solutions, recognizing the issue exists. First step to recovery is admitting you have an issue or a problem, right? Second thing is collaborative effort, which is us joining together, working together towards a common goal. Paying more taxes and living on less. That's kind of a hard one because we see our American government, in our eyes, a lot of times misspending funds, funding things like Facebook and those things, giving them tax bailouts when we could use them. And we're supposed to pay more taxes to get out of debt. So those kind of things can kind of contradict. But everybody knows if you're trying to get your budget in line, if you're in a deficit, you've got to pay more towards those deficits, and you've got to trim your waste, and you've got to center your living expenses. Developing alternative energy sources and promoting independence. I read something not too long ago about lithium batteries. We're working on going to electric cars. If we go to lithium, the United States doesn't have a natural supply of lithium. We're still dependent on other countries for those lithium batteries. So we need to really invest in some alternatives that are going to truly make our energy resources independent. Concluding, basically Friedman is saying don't get left behind. You can see the little characters crying because they missed the bus. And in a lot of senses, Friedman's saying we're missing the bus right now. We're behind in globalization. We're behind in our IT revolution. We're definitely behind and have a lot of deficits and debts. And the rising energy demand because we're growing populations, driving further, using more energy. Businesses, as they expand, if your economy does start to get better, you're going to have a way to supply them with energy. If you have new businesses opening up, there has to be a source of energy to run those production plants. So he's basically saying to us to rise and fight or face the consequences. We've got a choice. We can do what we need to, or in the long run, it's going to backfire and hurt us.